Darren Webster goed onderweg. Geef hem een hartelijk applaus. Little John, Robbie John Rodriguez.
Vamos a la playa, oh, oh, oh. Vamos a la playa, oh, oh, oh. Vamos a la playa, oh, oh, oh. Vamos a la playa, oh, oh. Vamos a la playa. La bomba estalló. Las radiaciones tostan y matizan de azul. Vamos a la playa, oh, oh, oh. Vamos a la playa, oh, oh, oh.
En dan zijn tegenstander, kan hij dit weekend zijn tweede Eurotour-zege in zijn carrière boeken. Hij heeft al wat successen beleefd in Nederland. Won hier al eens de IDL en de Zuiderduin Masters. In 2004 werd hij World Master. Ladies and gentlemen, the King, Mervyn King!
King of kings, bow down to the king. 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 Bow down to the king.
And cut. One more place in the quarterfinals up for grabs here on day 3 of the Dutch Darts Masters in Zwolle 2019, and it will go to either Mervyn King or Austria's Roby John Rodriguez. The incentive, the reward on offer here, a meeting with Peter Wright in the last 8. Peter Wright will be hoping he puts in a much improved performance in his quarter-final as opposed to the one he's just produced in his third-round defeat of Simon Whitlock. He was very swift to admit it was a very, very poor display from both Wright and Whitlock, but maybe, just maybe, having got that one out of his system, Peter Wright can move onwards and upwards. As for this one, Mervyn King and Roby John Rodriguez meeting for the 5th time and meeting for the 3rd time on the European Tour as well. They met on the European circuit 5 years ago at the European Darts Grand Prix. Mervyn King won that one, but it was Roby John who came out on top when they met at the European Match Play 3 years ago, or 4 years ago I should say, in 2015. Really interesting setup to this match as well, given the way these two players have made their progress.
Mervyn to throw first. Game on.
Roby John Rodriguez producing one of the performances of the weekend in seeing off Mike De Decker, a 109 average just shy of 6 180s, and then seeing off Darren Webster in his second round match. And as for Mervyn King, well, it was he who accounted for Daryl Gurney, the number 3 seed. So, cases to be made for either in this one. Rob Malarkey watching this one alongside me, Paul Nicholson.
More evidence there from Roby that he is ready to kickstart his career, and it's been very impressive from Roby this weekend and in qualifying before that. But there we go from Merv, and I spoke to him just after his victory yesterday against Daryl Gurney, and I said, I think that is the best I've seen you throw darts for a while. Everything was purposeful, the action was smooth, it had controlled aggression. He was placing those darts in with alarming regularity, and he looked like the old Merv.
28 years between these two as well. 25 years old, Roby John Rodriguez. Mervyn is 53 these days, but you wouldn't know it.
Yeah, he's still living life. He's a man of many hobbies. Loves his motorbikes, loves his golf. Invests heavily in his hobbies, I will say that. Good lay up from Merv.
Yeah, he just had a quick look there to see where Roby John was.
Went for the double 18 double top, and I think that was the right shot to go for, considering where Merv is. He found himself in this kind of spot yesterday an awful lot, and he kept doing that an awful lot yesterday as well. We've always harped on about his prowess on double 16, but he's becoming a really hot double top shooter.
Yeah, 6 out of 10 on his doubles yesterday. There was a very nice eye-catching 126 checkout in that 6-1 win over Gurney. And he's off to a flyer here as well with the first leg on the board. And he's off to a flyer in this second leg as well with a 180 just to keep that momentum going.
Do you know what, Rob? I might have just thought of a really good nickname for Gavin Carlin.
Where's that come from?
Shooter Mac. Shooter McGavin.
Why were you thinking about Gavin Carlin?
Because I said shooter at the end of the last sentence.
Oh, I see, right.
You can't say shooter without saying shooter.
140.
Just a big Happy Gilmore fan, as is Merv. Loves that movie.
Just in case you weren't with us for the previous match, we did make reference to this incentive, this extra incentive for Roby John Rodriguez, as well as the trophy and the cheque for £25,000 and the all-important ranking points as well for the Pro Tour Order of Merit and, of course, his overall Order of Merit as well. There is an added bonus in the offing here for Roby John if he wins the title here. He'll be presented with a cow. If he's successful, that's right, Paul, a cow.
120. Mervyn, you require 56.
All in keeping with this Alpine tradition.
Double top again for Merv. And yet again he's there.
Mervyn King.
Holy cow, really, for Roby John Rodriguez so far. 2-0 down.
Are we seeing Merv version 2 at the latter part of his glamorous career, where he has abandoned double 16 and left it on the desert island like a Wilson volleyball, and now he's having a love affair with tops? Why the cow then? What's the story?
Yeah, it's just an Alpine tradition that occurs from time to time, and Roby John's girlfriend's father is a farmer anyway, so it's not as if there'd be a question mark about the cow's welfare. He's got a good home for it already made up.
I was going to say, that's quite handy.
The ironic thing is he's been eating steak a lot this weekend as Roby John. I was chatting to him a short while ago, and I didn't realise what a superstitious character is. He's been sticking to this routine this weekend. He's been doing everything the same every day since he arrived here, and that amounts to skipping breakfast and eating an early lunch. He's been eating steak every night. He's got the sunglasses, of course. He's been timing his eating and drinking to various intervals of the day. He's not deviating in the slightest from that. 92. And it's all just part of this big plan. But, well, on the evidence of what we're seeing so far, he needs maybe to come up with something else to see off Mervyn King in this match, because Mervyn King is in control of this one so far.
I'll tell you what, Rob, you'd be amazed how many players are like that. They'll eat exactly the same food every day of a tournament. I was like that, constantly eating the same thing. I would source a meal based on where I am in Europe or around the world, and I would find that same place every day. Remember, we went to the Sydney Masters, and there was a Chinese place down the way where we got noodles and vegetables, which was really good darts food, you know, slow release fuel. I went there every day. But people like Wadey and Whitlock and Klassen, they're Nando's people. Another tops for Merv.
Another tops for Merv. It's becoming more and more prominent, isn't it?
I don't know about you. I've been watching Mervyn since the mid-90s, and I feel like I'm in the twilight zone. He's on tops that much this weekend. It just doesn't look right, but it's so effective. And when I spoke to him post that game yesterday, he was so bullish. He really feels that he may have done enough now to get himself guaranteed in the World Match Play. But now he feels that the shackles are off a little bit, and he believes he can win this title today. He really does.
85.
Well, Mervyn King was a finalist in this tournament in 2014. He was the first of Michael van Gerwen's 5 victims in finals of the Dutch Darts Masters.
96.
You know how there's been this embellishment this season of how to say Gerwyn Price?
Yeah.
Does that mean we've got to start calling him Mervyn?
Roby John.
Well, I think there are a few people who call him Mervyn. I'm not going to tell you who they are.
Well, however you say it, he's in a very strong position. 2 holes either side of that break of throw.
Maybe
a chance here, though, for Roby John to get his first leg on the board.
Another one of those will be handy.
It's just outside.
86.
Yeah, he's coming up against a slightly different beast today, is Roby John. He's taken out some proper talent already to get to this
43.
stage, but
Roby require 56.
Mervyn is turning up this weekend in Zwolle. Tops for Roby this time. And
He's
Tops is getting its eye poked out this afternoon.
With leg Mervyn to throw first. Game on.
Well, that's 4 legs and 4 double tops. Who's to say that this game will be won every leg on tops?
Every leg to be settled on double 20, yeah. Could well happen.
I'm sure Wadey got close to that once in a European tour. I think he got 5 out of 6.
And we saw Gerwyn Price 4 out of 4 on tops yesterday.
35.
That's not bad quality. 39 darts for the first 3 legs. That's the equivalent of 3 13s. That's a really, really high average. And then a great riposte from Roby. You know, this is what Mervyn's been doing this weekend. He's looked comfortable. And he wasn't really tested by Luke Woodhouse on Friday. Luke has yet to find a bit of a mojo on the European Tour stage. He will, because he's got quality. But it was Merv who just blasted Gurney away yesterday with sensational darting.
Their most recent meeting, these two, was last year on the Pro Tour in Barnsley. Mervyn King won that one by 6 legs to 3, but as I said, 2 apiece in the overall head-to-head. But this is a long overdue run for Roby John Rodriguez into the final day of a European Tour event. Has made the quarter-finals of one of these Euro Tour events before. That was the European Match Play in Innsbruck a few years ago.
80.
I never went to that one. I'm really disappointed I didn't.
I really enjoyed it. I
was
thought
beautiful, wasn't it?
It was a great tournament, and Innsbruck is such a beautiful city. I've been there on other occasions not to watch the darts, if you know what I mean.
98.
Well, we've seen 98 a couple of times today, and Dave Chisnell and Ricky Evans had a pop at it. But Mervyn's not going to get a shot at double 19 or indeed a double 12. But can Roby keep this streak going with a 51? No. So, treble 14 now.
Got it.
Double 16 to break the streak.
59.
Streak can continue, because look where Merv is.
You require 40.
He's knocking on the door of number 40.
And the door has been opened for him once again. Roby John Rodriguez paying the price for that missed start at double 16. King steps in, and King finishes off.
100.
Yeah, Roby John also did make the final day in the German Masters. I think that was in Jena a couple of years ago. Lost to Michael Smith 6-1 in that one.
140.
Having beaten Christoph Ratajski and Benito van der Pas. Again, it was a really good start. Really 2 notable, very big scouts for Roby John. But just seemed to run out of steam on the final day, on the 3rd day. And maybe just signs that this is beginning to repeat itself here as well. But he is just 1 breakdown. That's what he needs to just keep reminding himself of.
77.
Good save on that visit from Mervyn, because those first 2 darts were way off. Keeps himself in front in this leg by 60.
100.
And effectively he's stolen the darts. He kind of has. He's 40 behind. If he gets a 60 with dart 1, which he has, he's in control now.
98.
Sensible switch, because the 60 was blocked by dart 2. That 5's getting a pummeling in this leg. It's getting a bit scratchy
84.
at this middle point of the game, and Mervyn has got a super chance here, getting a 5-1 advantage.
Well, that just has helped Roby John Rodriguez, who may actually take this out at the first time of asking. Look at this. Tops for Roby John, and a 160 checkout to get the juices flowing.
6 legs, 6 double tops. The streak is still alive, but he's just done it, Roby John, the best way possible. The highest combination shot on the board that has tops at the end of it.
Great stuff. 4-2, still alive and still involved.
I'm going to ask you a question out of left field here, Rob. If you were to appoint a dart player as Prime Minister of the UK, who would you do?
I'll get back to you on that one, Paul.
Please tweet us with your hashtags such and such dart player for PM. Why not? And give us a reason why. How about Dave Chisnell for PM?
91.
Well, we've had one DC not too long ago.
Free Lego for everybody. I wonder if Dave Chisnell's going to get his own Lego, like Peter Wright, because he's the one who's actually into Lego.
56.
Somebody else as well likes. This will come back to me as well. I've just noticed it from social media.
You're having a Celine Dion moment. It's all going to come back to you now.
It will do, hopefully.
100.
Come on, we want this streak to continue. We want all double tops in this match. Mervyn behind the 8 ball in this one. Needs 2 trebles to get to a finish. Can't get there.
Chizzy to face Michael van Gerwen in our first quarter-final of the night from 7:15. Glenn Durrant against Gerwin Price. Ian White against Vincent van der Voort. And Peter Wright awaits the winner of this one. It's all set up for the final session tonight.
Well, by virtue of that last start 60 from Mervyn and no treble from Roby, this leg is for the taking.
97.
Sensible use of the 20s there to leave that 90.
60-12 and tops, not to beat.
Double 16. He's outside, and Mervyn is not going to go for the bull here with the first start. He's too sensible for that. He is going to go for the 60. Another single. Double 5. Oh, he's just missed it. And the streak is gone.
That's a shame. 6 legs. All culminating in tops, but it may well culminate in double 16 for Roby John, and it does. It's another holder throw. He just keeps chipping away, keeping himself interested.
Game on.
Well, the previous 2 matches, Roby John has, well, for the want of a better phrase, he's stuffed his opponents. But this is a whole different challenge.
140.
It's having to be a little bit workmanlike here and just stick in there with the veteran that is the king.
96.
And I mentioned a couple of days ago when he was playing against Mike De Decker that there is a dart in the arsenal of Roby John Rodriguez where he just shoves the dart and the arm doesn't come through smoothly. He snatches the dart, but he still hits what he's going for. Sometimes it's not about how you deliver it, it's about where it ends up.
100.
Roby John has the break back, but you just suspect that Mervyn King, he's one of the best at just giving an instant riposte, and I half suspect that Mervyn King will do that once again, although maybe not in this leg.
Yeah, similar averages right now, just a shade under 100, but Mervyn needs to go. I was going to say for the 15, but that was a really gutsy 25. It may be of no consequence because for an 11 dart leg, Roby John needs double 18. Oh, wonderful stuff. And a show of emotion from the Austrian young talent.
Well, that's 3 legs without reply now for Roby John. He was 4-1 down. He's now level at 4 apiece. And Mervyn King needs to find his rhythm and his range once again.
Well, the thing is, Merv's played well today. He's averaging 100, but earlier in the match he was way over 106. So he's regressed, whereas Roby John has stepped up. So the first 3 legs, you've got 39 darts for Merv. And then the last 3 legs, 43 for Roby John is not dissimilar to that little spurt from the king at the start. Now who can get 2 out of the last 3? Can't pick them apart.
Very, very finely poised.
There's a couple of dodgy follow-throughs there with darts 2 and 3. You look at the Mervyn follow-through, it's extended and smooth. He's placing those darts in there, and oh, he's got 120 on the floor.
Oh,
60.
That will hurt, yeah. Just had to readjust his score there because 2 fell out. Took one with him.
I'm going to come out and say something. That shouldn't happen.
Well, it did, and Roby John Rodriguez is pouncing all over this one as well.
Oh.
That will really hurt Mervyn King. That is effectively a 300-point swing there as a result of that.
100.
Mervyn has got to forget about
Maybe
what has just happened in the last
130.
6 darts, or possibly the last 9 now, because that really was a bucket full of sea salt in an axe wound.
65.
65 leaves 65. King on 196. All he can do here is post something big and just hope that Rodriguez doesn't finish the job. But the way he's got this confidence going right now, you'd fancy his chances.
100. Review requires 65.
You would
Four
fancy him to
legs.
take it, but Merv has cleverly left himself on 96. Will he get a shot?
No, he
So
won't,
Rodriguez.
because it's tops again.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez finds his way through to tops once more, and that is 4 legs without reply. And Robijon Rodriguez now throwing first. And if he's successful, if he holds his throw, he'll be through to a first European Tour quarter-final since September 2015. There's 60 points on the floor as well.
120.
Well, I didn't hear that familiar steel against steel or tungsten against steel sound. I think that came out of the bed.
60.
And remember as well, in leg 5, he missed a dart at double 16. And that would have trimmed it back to 3-2, so it could so easily have been game over by now.
101.
Good start to this leg from the Austrian. It's forcing Mervyn to hit big numbers. Needs another treble.
99.
And now Mervyn needs mistakes from Roby John. Got to give the young lad some credit. He's played so well the last 3 or 4 legs.
Well, he could so easily have buckled at 4-1. I know it was only 1 break at the time, but
58.
you know, it can look like a real mountain, can't it? But he just really stuck to his task. He never looked flustered either. He never seemed to hurry things up. He just maintained his own level and his own pace.
140.
And he just started to dictate terms that way. And okay, it coincided with Mervyn King suffering a bit of a downturn, which I suppose you might argue is somewhat inevitable.
His attitude, I think, these days is a lot better. And Roby has
92.
put himself on 130 for the match. He is the only person left in this draw who has played 5 games to this point. Mühlenkamp, Kist, JDZ, De Decker,
134.
Darren Webster. He's put himself in
130.
position to win against the King.
And he's found the treble as well. And he's looking at the bullseye.
105.
And when he returns, if he
Mervyn
returns,
requires
he'll be looking at
68.
25. Mervyn King looking at 68 to take us all the way to a decider. 2 darts at double 4, 1 dart at double 2. Tense moment this for Mervyn King.
66.
And Robijon Rodriguez
Roby
does
required
get another
25.
opportunity.
For the match then, to close out the afternoon, it's double 8. 2 4s. Doesn't get there
21.
and invites Mervyn King into the madhouse.
Required 2.
2 missed match darts for Robijon Rodriguez
He's on
and
the
Mervyn
flag,
King
Mervyn
in the
King.
madhouse, but out of the madhouse very quickly. And we are going to an 11th and deciding leg.
11th and final leg, Mervyn to throw first.
This is where you'd like to play your Michael van
Game
Gerwen wildcard, isn't it? Because he maintained his run earlier on, this astonishing sequence of final leg victories on the European Tour with that win
96.
against Barney at the start of what has been a brilliant afternoon session here in Zwolle. But look at this from Robijon out of the blocks. Oh, same
No
again!
way!
60.
Same again! Well, Mervyn King will feel a sense of justice there, really, and that there has been some sort of order brought back to proceedings. But, well, Rodriguez is smiling about it, but I tell you what,
100.
the fact that he's seeing the funny side of that is astonishing.
The fact that it's happened to 2 different players in the same match is not a coincidence.
41.
Oh, and it's just 41 as well. Well, 101 from 6 darts when he was on course for a 180 from a 3. And this is very much in the hands of Mervyn King now.
He's really got to keep it together here, Merv. I don't think he's 100% comfortable. This match has taken a lot out of both players mentally.
60.
And Rodriguez, the trebles have dried up. King is in control. He's got to stay there and put his foot down for 9 more darts. And that's
100.
good enough right now. The lead is big.
Robijon Rodriguez missed 2 match darts
92.
in the 10th leg.
Mervyn, you require 148.
But it's Mervyn King who will be first to match darts in this leg, you'd have thought.
He's going to stay straight. Oh,
100.
what a dart. That's the sandwich dart. That is the jam in the toast.
Very, very strong stuff indeed from Mervyn King, just when he needed to bring it all together. Okay, he was given a helping hand by Roby John Rodriguez with that double bounce out, but 48 for Mervyn King. He loves this part of the board, and that's the reason why. And Mervyn King survives 2 match starts to advance to a first quarter-final on the European Tour since he made the last 8 in Denmark last summer. It's been long overdue, but he is involved in the final session once again, this time in Zwolle, and he will face Peter Wright later on tonight for a place in the semi-finals. A terrific, terrific match to round off this afternoon session. Heartache for Roby John Rodriguez. No cow for him, but Mervyn King on the way through to the quarter-finals. Join us again from 7:15 for the last 8, starting with Michael van Gerwen against Dave Chisnell.
Mervyn, congratulations. It was a bit of an up and down match, wasn't it?
Yeah, not the best. There you go. A lot of darts on the floor, a lot of bad darts, some good.
Is there anything you can fix about it in the next coming hours, or is it just a question of tonight we start again?
Yeah, it's something I can fix because I couldn't see properly. I'm getting a migraine, so I need to go and find a dark room. Sorry, guys.
Dames en heren, geef hem een hartelijk applaus. The King, Mervyn King.